Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1990 Dodge Dynasty. Up front is a 3.3 liter V6, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Dodge Dynasty for two reasons. First of all, I've never reviewed a Dynasty here on the channel, and I always love showing you guys new and interesting cars. But the second reason is the fact that this was a little bit of a misstep from Dodge. It was plagued with issues. They weren't great when they were first sold, and it's definitely not great now, and we'll dig into the reasons why that was a little bit later on. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and you would get a video of your car, just like the one you're watching now of this Dodge Dynasty. But let's get back to that 3.3 liter V6. Well, that's where the issues start. That is a Chrysler developed 3.3 liter, and although it's not an outwardly bad engine, it's not terrible. They were also offering 3.0 liter V6s from Mitsubishi in Dodge products, and that engine is a lot stronger, a lot more reliable, and just overall engineered a lot better. So the 3.3 liter, although you say, ooh, it's a decently big V6 and it does have its perks, at the end of the day, it wasn't all that great. But paired to it is even worse. This automatic transmission is bad. Now, they did update it later on to be better, but this is a pre-update transmission, meaning any moment during this review, it might give out and just make it inoperable. In the late 80s, early 90s, Chrysler really started to go downhill with their transmission quality, and this is exhibit A, B, and C of that issue. Last but not least, the Dynasty is front-wheel drive, but that is far from where the problems stop. If you got an ABS-equipped vehicle, which this is not, but if you got the ABS-equipped vehicles, they would fail randomly, and you would have no brakes. And then the nice little bow or ribbon on top, if you will, is that this was kind of a test bed for Chrysler's body module system, updating to electronically ran cars, where basically the ECU knows everything about the car, and we start to get into the era where, like, if a light bulb isn't plugged in, the car might not run right, that we saw throughout the 90s. Very complicated electronic systems. Well, this was one of the first Dodges to have it, and it's a terrible system. They fail constantly, they're very unreliable, and all that together just makes this a walking, talking, driving disappointment. How does it feel to drive it? It's actually not. Here's the thing. Driving it right now, because I don't have any problems, it's actually a nice car. Rides pretty decent, although it has an exhaust leak. The power from the 3.3 liter is good. And as we'll talk about, the interior is nice. This is a nice space to be in, but it's like dangling a knife like a mistletoe. You'll probably be fine if you walk under it, but if it all comes crashing down, it's going to be a very, very bad day. So I'm happy to have caught the Dynasty on a good day. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior, because it too is quite lovely. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of analog gauges. Off to the left is my oil pressure, fuel, coolant temperature, speedometer, and battery voltage. On the steering wheel, we do have the cruise control down at the bottom. Love to see that. And off to the left, we have a climate vent, a wire diagram of the car itself, which looks more like an Aston Martin Lagonda than a Dodge Dynasty, but that's neither here nor there. Headlight switch, rear defrost, and the alarm. So this is outfitted with the factory alarm, which still works. Very, very cool. Moving on to the door, we have our power mirror adjustments, our seat controls on the door, as well as our power windows and power locks. All really nice technology for 1990. Moving into the center, we get two climate vents, our climate controls themselves as well. This is a factory AC car, and the Dodge radio. I love this sort of green looking radio that was so popular throughout the 1990s. I think it has a great look to it, and it still operates. And we do have an ashtray and cigarette lighter down below. Then we do get a bench seat, which is fantastic. Really, really comfy, really cozy, and that's what I was looking for from a vehicle like this. I could sink into these seats, and as long as I'm not driving it, I'm very comfortable in this car. And we do have cup holders. They slide out of each individual armrest, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test. The big friggin' bottle goes in at the top, but as soon as you take any corner or any sort of acceleration, it does fly out. So these fail. They're pretty poorly designed cup holders, but it had cup holders in 1990, so at least it had something going for it. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. Getting in the back of the Dynasty. Ugh. Oh, wow. All right, these seats are comfy. These are comfy, bouncy, cushiony seats. I do get a center console armrest. Oh, this is a cozy, nice place to be. If I didn't know that this car was a ticking time bomb under the hood, I would be so excited to ride back here. But now that the car is stopped and off and hasn't exploded yet, I'm very comfy. Wow. As soon as I sat down, as soon as my butt hit the seat, I could tell that it was so comfortable. That's a good showing. That's a good sign. And of course, ashtrays in the doors because that was the era. Let's hop into the trunk, which uses the same key. Couldn't be said about all cars in that era. And then we'll talk about the looks. All right, behind the Dodge Dynasty. Well, open it like that to access the keyhole and pop it up. Those are the hubcaps for the vehicle, and we do get a ton of rear trunk space. This is still of the era where American cars almost prioritize trunk space. You could easily fit 2 to 3 bodies back here, and I think that that was Dodge's goal at the end of the day, which is very nice to see. Overall, that's the trunk of a Dodge Dynasty. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I actually quite like the look of the Dodge Dynasty. It is a nice mix of 90s car with the sort of rounded edges, but square design, if that makes sense. The rear window is at an almost 90-degree angle. It really reminds me of the GM N bodies that it would compete with. So it got that squared off back that was very common in the 70s and 80s, but was slowly moving into the 90s with its curved appeal, which I actually like. I don't know. I like the look of the Dynasty. Maybe it's because I rarely ever see them, but I think it's a decent look at all. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Dodge Dynasty from 1990? Well, I have to sort of split my brain in two, my left brain and right brain. My right brain loves it. My right brain loves how weird and different and unique this car is, especially this day and age. My right brain loves the nostalgia of it, the wood grain in here, the comfy, cozy seats, that green radio display. My right brain loves the Dynasty and wants one now really bad because these are nice cars. But then there's the left brain. The left brain is the more analytical section of the brain, the numbers and decimal points side of the brain. And my left brain hates this car. My left brain is scared of this car. Because, as I mentioned, at any waking moment, it can, and probably will, shut down and cost me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in repairs. The transmission was engineered out of glass and porcelain. The wiring harness looks like spaghetti after I've had my work done to it. Again, if it had the ABS, it would be holding a hunting knife to my neck and saying, "Brake, fat boy, try it!" And unfortunately, this car just doesn't have enough redeeming qualities for my right brain to win. My right brain won when I bought a Mazda RX-7. The Wankel rotary engine is flawed in its design, and I knew that it was going to be heartache, and it did give me heartache. I blew the motor of it. It cost me thousands of dollars, and I pulled the motor myself, rebuilt that car, and guess what? The body fell apart after that. But that car was so fun when it ran that I was okay with it. I was okay with shelling the money into it. It's comfy, it's nice, it's nostalgic, but there's other cars that do that for me without the heartache and without the wallet ache. 1990 was a very transitional year for Dodge. They had started to move away from their K platform that made them so successful in the 80s. They were stepping into the new era, and with every step comes the threat of tripping. And unfortunately, with this particular car, Dodge tripped and fell. But it's okay. They also made the neon in this era, so I forgive them for their sins. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Carl for letting me take out the Dodge Dynasty in today's video. Carl has been wonderful. We've reviewed so many of his vehicles here on the channel. This is yet another one. He also has a YouTube channel full of all of his shenanigans if you would like to go check that out. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.